Hey guys, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to animate eyes in Animate Studio. Tutorial! Now for this tutorial I have already made a character or the head of a character, and I've given him eyebrows, eyes and nose, mouth and so on. But we are going to animate the eyes right now, and what I'm going to do is moving the pupils from left to right and up and below. I've already made a tutorial on how to make a character blink, so if you want to learn how to do that, I put a link of that video at the end of this tutorial. But anyway, let's get started. So what we are going to do, we are going to use smart bones for animating the eye, and we are going to do that right now. First I'll zoom in on his eyes. Then while you're on the bone layer, you take the add bone tool and you draw a bone right here. Then I'll take the bone string tool and I'll reduce the strength to 0. Now I'm going to make a second bone. Oh, move this away. Now I'm going to make a second bone, but before you do that, make sure that you click away from the bone so that it's unselected. Because if it's selected and you create a bone, they are going to be connected, and we don't want that. So take the add bone tool and draw a second bone right here, and I'll take the bone string tool to reduce the strength. Now first I go back to this bone and I'm going to give it a name, and I'll name it eyes vertical. Then I go to bone constraints and I'll click on angle constraints and close. So what happens is you see a line right here, and if I take the manipulate bones tool and I move it right here, you see it doesn't go any further than the line. So we are going to do the same thing for this bone also. I'm going to name this one eyes horizontal and select angle constraints. So now we are going to make actions for these bones. I'll start with this one. What I do while you have selected, go to window, action panel, and you're going to make a new action and name it exactly like the bone. In this case, eyes vertical. Click OK. Then what I do, you automatically end on a different timeline, and while you're on frame 1 of the timeline, you take the transform bone tool and you move the bone right here above. Then we are going to the eyes layer, and what we want to do is we want to select the pupils only. So I take the select points tool, make sure lasso mode is selected, and you just draw a line, and you make sure that you have the pupils inside of it. So now they are selected, and then you take the transform points tool and you move them up right here above. So if I go back to the main line and I take the manipulate bones tool and I move this bone right here, you see the eyes are moving with it. So now we are going to do the same thing again, but this time for the pupil below. We'll name this one eyes vertical 2, and then we are moving the bone right here below, and we are going to the eyes layer again, and the pupils are already selected, so you only have to move them right here down below. So if I go back to the main line and I move this bone, you see the eyes are moving with it. So now we are going to do the same thing for this bone that is going to move the eyes horizontal. I make a new action and call it eyes horizontal. And I take the transform bone tool and move it to the left first. I go to the eyes and I move them to the left. Then I go back to the main line. Now I'm going to make a second action and I call it eyes horizontal 2. And I move the bone to the right, and then I go to the eyes layer to do the same thing again. Move them to the right. So back to the main line. Now if I take this bone, you can move it to the left and to the right, and same thing for this. And now you can move it anywhere you want it. So let's say you want to create an animation where it would look above to the right. You go to a certain frame on the timeline, then you click on this bone and on this bone so that keyframes are created, and then you go to another point in the timeline and then you move it exactly where you want it to move, like this. And then if I make the bones invisible and I play, you see you have now created animation for the eyes. So there you go, that's how you animate eyes. Now of course you don't have to do it like this. This is how I prefer to do it, so you can see for yourself if it works for you. And if you would also like to animate the pupils, for instance, separately, what you can do is make little bones right here like this one, but then little, and do the same thing again. Make an action called left eye vertical, and then move the pupil to the left and so on, and you can try that out to see if it works. So anyway, yeah, play around with it. So that's the end of this tutorial. I hope you guys learned a lot about this, and I hope to see you in the next video.
If you liked this video and you want to learn more about Anime Studio, then please subscribe to this channel. I put weekly tutorials on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. I also make animations myself. I upload them within 1 or 2 months, so if you're interested, you can watch those too. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.